If you are a writer, you will spend a lot of time critiquing other writers' works. It helps you improve as a writer as well. So it's best to know what the most effective ways to handle it are, and the best advice you can give. We'll go over that along with some tips and tricks for what to and what not to suggest. Let's get started. So, someone gave you their story and asked for some feedback. What do you do now? The first thing is, you want to make sure you give them the most applicable advice for their work. Before critiquing anything, or even read their work, make sure to ask them 2 questions. 1. What kind of feedback are you looking for? 2. What are you looking to do with this story? Sounds kind of obvious, but it's really helpful to establish that early on, because their answers will guide how you respond to their work. Some authors may not realize it, but they are looking for specific direction with your critique. Maybe they want to improve their dialogue or scene descriptions. Asking them what they want you to look for will force them to think a little and offer you some guidance on what you should mention. These questions will also help you understand what kind of level of critiques they can handle. Authors that want to be published will need a lot of feedback. Understanding your author's goals will help guide you to forming a critique that is relevant with this piece of work. We have 3 groups of writers based on the second question: non-serious, getting serious, and very serious. Non-serious writers will respond to those questions with, I just wanted to know if you liked it. I have no real plans for it. Critiquing their work is going to be hard for some of you because they are not really asking for a critique. They are really just looking for validation of their efforts. These are closeted writers, just beginning their craft. You need to be delicate with them. Lots of encouragement and praise. Being overcritical may scare them away from ever writing again. I know a few writers that got discouraged in this phase and gave it up for a while. Don't be that guy to your friend. Getting a little deeper into the psychology of this, some of these writers do not actually want your feedback. They just want to share something personal with someone they care about. This may be a story they wrote in a tough time or something that expresses their deep feelings. They really just wanted to show you this so you can experience that side of them personally. Reading this sort of thing and offering a serious critique could be devastating for that person. So just keep this in mind if they mention that they have not shown this to anyone else. This is probably just a personal story that they're sharing with you. Just experience it and move on. I enjoyed it. I would love to read more of your writing. Is a great response to this sort of thing. Most non-serious writers will be happy to hear that. But if they push really hard for, okay, but what do you think I should improve? Then they are getting more serious with their work and need real feedback. However, if they don't ask for it, don't give it. This is not the time for you to flex your ego and rip apart their book just to show off how much you know. Just choose your words carefully and keep the advice mostly positive. Writing belongs to everyone, remember? However, if they are clearly enthusiastic about writing, ask them to write more, and see if they start getting more serious and move on to the next tier. The next category is the most fun one, and where most writers find themselves. These are your peers in your creative writing class, your fan fiction authors. These writers will probably answer the initial questions with, I really want to know what I can improve on. While you should be encouraging, because we always want them to keep writing, offer them serious feedback. You're doing them no favors by holding back your thoughts. Please take notes as you read their work. Nothing is worse than hearing back from a reader who says, oh, there was this one part that was confusing, but I forget where it was. That's not helpful. The author needs to know specifically what needs to be fixed. What made you have to go back and reread a tricky paragraph? Where did the story get bogged down from exposition? Where did someone say something out of character? If you have anything negative to say, make it as specific as possible, and only mention it after saying something positive. Instead of, your story was bad, try, overall, it was well done, but I feel there was too much exposition at the start. Try spreading it out over the first few chapters instead of all at once. This lets them know what to focus on while they edit. And never make it personal. Always keep the feedback objective and about the work itself. Instead of saying, you need to add more dialogue, try saying, the story would really benefit from more dialogue, and that's where your writing really shines. These writers need to know this information because they want to improve, but you don't need to drag them through the mud. Lastly, we have the hardest group to critique, the very serious. These people answered the questions with, I'm thinking about getting this book published. What do you think? Whoa, okay, time to buckle down and really analyze this. Now, we do need to be encouraging with these writers because they certainly have the potential to get published. They will have to be very open and honest with receiving real criticism. If this author wants to be published, then you have to be thoughtful with your advice. I really enjoyed it no longer suffices. They need to know what was good, specifically, what worked, what didn't work, what chapters were slow, what needed to be put into more detail. For these, you may want a full manuscript to go through and add notes to send back to the author. Write in the margins your thoughts as you go along. Make predictions. See what was correctly foreshadowed or what made no sense. Apply everything that you have learned to strengthen their work. Now is the time to really flex your knowledge on writing, but still be professional. Again, never bash the writer. Great writers can write bad stories sometimes. So stay focused on this work in particular, and explain in great detail what needs to be improved. If they are being super defensive and unwilling to make changes, perhaps they are not ready. An author needs to understand if they plan on being published traditionally, then their book will be changed several times along the way. They will have to be flexible with their story because the publishers really know what they're talking about and will only offer suggestions that will make the book the best it can be. Overall, here's some advice to critiquing other people's work. Ask what they are looking for you to give feedback on specifically.
What do you want?
It's not that simple.
What do you want? God damn it. What do you want?
Focus your critiques to their personal goals.
Do you mind telling me what you do want to do?
Well, sir, someday I'd like to be a dentist.
In general, be encouraging and positive. Open and close your critiques with what the author did right.
Well done, students. If you were trying to disappoint me, tigers, you need more ferocity.
If negative, be specific. Focus on what directly needed work.
Too skinny. Good for bearing sons.
Give examples and offer suggestions for improvement. Constructive criticism is key here.
What is this?
A center for ants? The center has to be at least 3 times bigger than this.
Take notes to either give the author or use when meeting with them again. This is immensely helpful.
Write that down, write that down!
If you were not directly invited, don't critique someone else's work. Unsolicited critiques will just make you come off as rude.
Nobody asked for your help but Grace! You wasn't ready!
Review books outside your preferred genre. If you are a person's friend and they are asking for your help, don't turn them away with, "Oh, I don't like fantasy." The basic rules of writing apply to every genre, and you can always offer advice to the fundamentals. If you really don't have time to offer them constructive feedback, let them know, instead of making them wait weeks for a review that will never come. Or if their book is just really, really bad.
Yeah, well, you know, that's just like, your opinion, man.
And they are looking to improve, let them know you think they would benefit from joining writing groups, or maybe starting fresh if the book is just a mess. Maybe help them construct an outline to organize their thoughts and restructure the book. Work with them if they need it. Lastly, follow up with them. Ask them for more samples or ask to read the same sample again after they've made their revisions. Keep being supportive, and not only will you be a great help to them, they will return the favor when you have a new book coming out as well. The world is tough on independent authors, and we need to support one another. Also, don't forget, if someone is just starting writing and wants to improve, send them here to learn more. The best thing any writer can do is subscribe to this channel to absorb all the information they possibly can. Well, that covers most of it for this topic, and I mentioned the catchphrase earlier, so I guess see you next time.